Hi, I'm Oliver, and today I'll show you how to get started with NestKing. This video is the first in a series we're creating over the next few months to give you a clear overview of how to make plies in NestKing. We'll also be sharing more videos soon that focus on specific topics in more detail, so stay tuned. On the start page, you'll find a link to the latest PDF user guide. This guide covers everything in this video and goes into even more detail, so it's definitely worth checking out. We also offer free webinars with live demos where we'll answer your questions and listen to your feedback. And of course, if you have any questions or run into any issues, feel free to reach out anytime at support@nestking.at. All right, enough talking. Let's dive into NestKing. The ply generation process in NestKing can essentially be broken down into four main steps. Step number 1, setting up the first layer. Step number 2, generating the layup. Step number 3, nesting. And finally, step number 4, plybook generation. Step number 1, setting up the first layer. There are 3 primary ways to import data into NestKing. The first method for creating your first layer is by importing flattened geometries from any 3D software, such as this model of a sports car's rear spoiler. We can easily save this data as standard DXF files and import them into NestKing by clicking the Open button. However, these files often contain numerous small line elements, which are not ideal for further processing. To address this, we'll use the optimizer to simplify the geometries. Here's how. Open the sketcher and select all the imported elements, either by using the selection box or pressing Ctrl-A. Then, click on the Optimize button. As you can see, the optimizer not only simplifies the geometries, but also repairs any gaps, applies the correct layer, and prepares the shapes for smooth processing. The available layers are conveniently listed in the Layer Selection box on the toolbar for easy reference. There are also plenty of additional tools to explore, like the Magic tool, Repair tool, and NestKing commands, just to name a few. To keep this video concise, we'll cover these sketcher features in detail in an upcoming video. Okay, option number 2 is drawing geometries directly by hand. Therefore, we can simply use features like the circle, polyline, and rectangle drawing tools. Access these tools via the toolbar or the command prompt. For example, to draw a polygon, click the Polygon button or simply press P on your keyboard. Press Space or Enter to confirm. Now you can start drawing your shapes. Right-click to adjust tool settings, such as switching between line and arc modes as demonstrated here. You can also switch mode by using your keyboard. The corresponding keys are indicated in brackets. For example, to close our geometry, we can press key C. If you don't have any 3D data available, but have a physical template, you can use option number 3, Images. With this feature, you can import photos of your cut templates or hand-drawn sketches directly into NestKing. To do this, either click the Load Picture button or simply drag and drop your images into the sketcher area. Once imported, you'll need to scale the image to match the actual dimensions. For example, if an edge in the photo measures 150 millimeters, select the scaling tool and mark the start and end points of that edge. Press L to enter the precise length of 150 millimeters. Click Enter to confirm. You can then double-check the scaling accuracy with the measurement tool. Next, you can outline the shape of the ply manually using again the Polyline tool. Or we can also use the Picture Wizard to automatically convert the image into editable geometry. Therefore, double-click on the picture and select the Picture Wizard button. Here you have several settings to get the required outcome as presented here. This image showcases some hand-drawn shapes as a demonstration. Using pictures in NestKing allows us to fine-tune plies if we notice that adjustments are needed for production. I believe that incorporating images could unlock entirely new possibilities for NestKing. For instance, as shown here, we can also use it to create inlays for tool carts. The Picture Wizard itself offers enough features and use cases to warrant its own dedicated video in our series, where we'll dive into its full range of functionalities. Okay, these are the three main methods for creating the first layer. Once it's complete, we can save our work by clicking the Save button and leave the sketcher via the Exit button. Now, let's move on to step number 2. Generating the complete layup. There are two main approaches for this. The first option is to use the sketcher, as we've used earlier. This is the standard method for generating the layup, but it's also the most time-consuming. To speed up this process, NestKing introduces the Master Cut feature, which I'll explain next. To enter the Master Cut tool, simply click its button in the toolbar, then just click OK. This opens the Master Cut workspace, where all previously imported geometries are automatically converted into master cuts indicated in green. Here, we can set up the master table, which represents the sequence of our layup. For instance, step 1 corresponds to layer 1, step 2 to layer 2, and so on. You can also split layers across multiple steps or add non-cut steps, such as debulk or close tool steps. For demonstration, let's add 5 additional layers and a debulk step in the middle. You can also instruct NestKing to rotate, for example, these 2 layers by 45 degrees. Now, let's enter the Master Cut sketcher. At first glance, this sketcher resembles the standard sketcher we already got to know at the beginning of this video, but includes 4 additional tools located in the toolbar's center. The first tool generates new master cuts from newly added geometries like this, so it basically can be used to generate new master cuts. Before exploring the other 3 tools, let's take a closer look at the master cuts themselves. Therefore, double-click on the first master cut to open a dialog filled with new options. First, let's split the outer geometry of our rectangular master cut into segments. You can do this manually by selecting the Split Segment tool on the left, or, in most cases, use the Auto Split tool below. This tool automatically splits segments at corners with an opening angle smaller than the adjusted limit angle, in this case 110 degrees. Click OK to confirm. Next, enter the second master cut and repeat the process. Now it's time to use the Linker tool. Select 2 neighboring segments to link them, as shown here. If you don't wish to link additional segments, press Escape to exit. Double-clicking on the generated link opens the link dialog. Here, you can specify how these segments should interact across each layer. Use the automatic mode to adjust offset behavior for these joining segments. NestKing provides a live view so you can instantly see the impact of any changes. You can also set offset values for each ply manually. The intersection view on the right shows the layups overlapping, and here you can modify the tool radius and angle as well. For thicker laminates, you may want to enable material thickness compensation, which trims and extends cut edges for a perfect fit. Let's quickly repeat this process to link more segments together. The next tool, Equalizer, is ideal when you want to distribute a certain offset sequence among multiple segments. For example, let's use the equalizer to connect these segments with each other as demonstrated here. Click Space to confirm and Escape to deactivate the equalizer tool. Now, any future adjustments to the master segment automatically update the linked slave segments. The final tool lets you generate and visualize the layup and show them permanently on screen. By double-clicking on a connection point, indicated by a green circle, you can change how neighboring segments connect, switching between straight connections and V-darts. Double-clicking on a segment allows you to add slices or change offset modes. Finally, let's assign the upper master cuts to step number 1 and the all lower cuts to the remaining steps 2 to 7. This was just a brief overview of the master cut tool. There's a lot more to explore, such as ply packs, labeling, slicing, and splitting. For a deep dive, we also plan to do another video on this topic, and we will link it in the description down as well. To save your work, press the Save button. All data from this workspace is saved in the NestKing specific NKM Cuts file format. At this point, I'd like to emphasize our flexibility. You're not limited to only master cut tools. You can still add cuts manually or use images, respectively, mix them all together. Now let's leave the sketcher area and generate the master cut output data. Here we basically get the complete layup based on our settings. Now we are ready to go to step number 3, nesting. Therefore, let's click on the nesting button. The pre-nest settings dialog will appear, offering various options such as subnesting, automatic label positioning, and more. For now, we will leave this settings as they are and proceed by clicking Nest All. If everything goes smoothly and all cuts are successfully generated, the nest dialog will open. Here, you can adjust the dimensions of your nest as needed. I'd like to highlight the available nesting algorithms. All algorithms except the AutoNester T are NestKing's own and can be used at no additional cost. If you'd like to try the more advanced AutoNester T, please feel free to reach out to us. So for now, let's use the Auto mode, which automatically selects the appropriate nesting algorithm for us, and click on Nest. Once we are happy with our nest results, we can click on Skip. Now, we can export your settings in various file formats compatible with cutters, including DXF, ZCC, and GTK. Alternatively, you can print your nest's results. Even if the nest size exceeds your maximum paper size, NestKing will automatically split the layout so we can print larger plies and nests with ease. Additionally, within the Nest dialog, you can simulate our nests, generate a detailed nest report, and adjust other settings to refine the output. There's so much more to discuss about nesting in greater detail. This topic will be covered in depth in an upcoming video just about nesting. Lastly, I'm excited to show you our latest feature, the Plybook tool. Since it's currently in draft form, the Plybook button won't be visible by default. To activate it, go to the Options dialog by navigating to File, Options in the menu bar, then open the Plybook tab. Here, you can enable or disable the Plybook tool. Once enabled, close and reopen your MasterCut file, and the Plybook button will be ready to use. When generating a Plybook for the first time in a file, NestKing will prompt you for additional information, such as part name, an article number, and a lot more. This information is used to autofill the Plybook, but can be left blank if not needed. We will then be asked whether to use the default Plybook structure or not. Let's click Yes. NestKing's default includes a title page, an overview page listing the steps in the master table, and a detailed page for each step. You can fully customize this structure, adding any extra information or images to enhance each section. Once you're satisfied with your Plybook, simply save and print it using the Print button. With tools like PDF24, you can also save it as a PDF. Okay, that wraps up today's walkthrough. As you can see, there's a lot to explore, so we plan to create additional in-depth videos covering more specific topics. If you have any questions, feature requests, or feedback, please reach out to us at support@NestKing at any time. Thank you for watching, and as always, have a fantastic day. Ciao.